So this is week 4, the asana portion of the spring yoga series. You might remember, if you've been following all along, that in week 1, I mentioned that I was going to talk about the yamas, and I was going to talk about one each week, and I didn't. We stayed on ahimsa, which means no harm, for 3 sessions. And we did talk about it. I talked about respecting your body. I talked about no pain, no pain. Number 3 is asteya, which is often translated no stealing. I think it really is another way of saying, in yoga, your ego is not your amigo. Honestly, you need to not have expectations that you're going to look like me when you're doing the pose or look like something you saw on the cover of Yoga Journal. You need to understand and respect your experience. That's what I mean. You're not going to steal your experience from someone else. Your experience is what matters. And so let's focus on that as we proceed. I begin every asana class basically the same way because I want you to understand how to do this at home, understand how even to sit properly and not be in pain. So let's begin. Find yourself on the front of your sturdy chair that has a back, and it needs to be heavy enough that when you lean forward, the chair doesn't go with you. Your sits bones are on the chair. Your thighs are for the most part free. Your knees and feet are hip width apart, and your knees are over your heels. From there, you have a sturdy seat. And if you just, without moving the feet, just pull your feet toward the chair, you can feel your pelvis engage, which will help you stack up your spine so that it's supporting your body in the most efficient way. And then relax those feet back to where they were to begin with. So, take a long, gentle inhale that makes you a little taller. And on exhale, just soften anywhere you know you find and hold tension. Bring your attention to the breath in your nose. Throat, just feel it. Chest. Belly. And then that little triangle of space between the bottom of your breastbone and your navel. In that little spot, you can feel your diaphragm going up and down. If you like, you can put the center of your palm over that area to feel it. Feel your diaphragm working. It goes down on inhale and up on exhale. And then feel your whole body breathe. And with your next inhale, bring eyes open. Take a moment, notice how you feel. Chances are your breath slowed down a little bit while you were becoming more and more aware of it. And let's carry that on into what we're doing next. We're going to make sure our shoulders are up for yoga today. And the way we do that is to let the arms naturally hang from the shoulders. We're not stooping forward. We're not flaring back into a kind of military posture. We're halfway in between. And out of the corners of your eye, see if you can manage to lift your arms without being able to see them. We exhale here and inhale. Keeping the shoulders and neck soft. Doesn't matter if you bend your elbows. And then exhale takes you down. Whenever we move away from the body, we almost always use an inhale, and moving towards the body is an exhale. So I'd like you to try a few of those arm raises at your breath pace. Remember, respect the body that you arrive with and use your breath for these sequences. So pause the video and try a few of those on your own. Okay, I want you to notice each time when we segue from one pose to another, I want you to notice how you feel. And the best way to notice is check in with your breath. Is it still smooth and happy? Is it still soft? Is your body talking to you anywhere? Respect that. Respect that. So let's check out our backs and really the legs a bit too. We're going to go wide. I know it might seem unusual for someone to teach yoga wearing jeans, but my idea is that if you can't do yoga in your clothes, maybe your body's not very happy in your clothes. So these are stretchy. I get away with it that way. So we're wider than hip width apart, hands, in fact, palms on your knees if you can, long spine, lift your head. I'm going to inhale here and hinging only at the hips. My elbows will bend, but I'm hinging at the hips. I exhale forward as far as I can, and when I need to, I begin to curve down. Let your head hang. Inhale into your low belly, and let that exhale soften your low, low back. Direct your attention to the upper belly as you inhale. And as you exhale, feel the mid-back release and soften. Breathe into your shoulders and upper chest. And on exhale, let the thoracic spine, let the neck, let the head hang freely. The sense is that your whole torso is hanging from your tailbone. Let's do one long inhale. And exhale, release. And then inhale your way back up again. So, if your back is happy enough, for most of us, that actually makes our back a little happier. If your back is happy enough, we'll also do a little bit of a seated forward bend, just to make sure. And then we'll move on. So, knees and feet are hip width apart. Hands are somewhere on your thighs. Inhale here and exhale, lying on your thighs. And down you come. Let the arms hang. Take a long inhale here. And on exhale, soften. Bring your hands back to your knees. And up you come. Each of these is sort of like climbing a set of stairs. You need for each of these pieces to feel safe and pain-free for you to move on to the next thing. If it's not pain-free, maybe you go back and work on it in video 1, 2, or 3 again and build up a tolerance for these movements. I didn't have this tolerance originally. I really didn't. And I learned it through repetition. So I'm going to switch to a standing pose, which means changing my chair around for your benefit. You don't need to change your chair, but you do need to be able to see the video while you're practicing. And then laying down my mat. The mat needs to be anchored by the chair. They're not meant to slide, but they will depending upon the surface you place it upon. So I'm turning sideways and I'm still focused on being hip width apart with knees and feet. I'm very close. We talked about this when we talked about forward bend the first time. I'm very close and I'm very tall. My head's not going to hit, not because I'm a yoga person, but because I'm going to balance my forward bend by sticking my butt out. So we're going to inhale here. And on exhale, stick the bottom out gently, slowly. You ran out of air? Stop. Inhale again. And keep going, sticking the bottom out. Hold on to your chair, and down you come. Maybe your head touches, maybe it doesn't matter. And then inhale back up, and the hips come forward. You can try a couple of those. Notice how you feel. So if that was comfortable, you can add the arms. We'll exhale here. Inhale the arms up. You can look up at them if your neck is happy. And then as you come down, stick the bottom out. Hold on to your chair and soften down. Inhale up. I'm going to do one more just to make sure and then leave you to do a few at your breath pace. Exhale down, sticking the bottom out. Hold on, and each forward bend, completely release at the bottom. Release all your air. Soften the low belly, mid belly, chest, like you learned to do when we were doing the back test. So, try a few of those on your own, please. So, notice how you feel. Check in with your energy level. Check in with your comfort level. And we'll move on to another pose. If you're doing this pose, you're going to bring your chair to the center of your mat. I'm just going to center my mat on the chair, and you want to do the same. So we're going to go wide. I want your feet to still be parallel. This keeps your knees safe. You always want knees and feet going the same direction. So for you, you're going to lean forward and hold on to the chair. But you can't see what I'm doing, so I'm not going to do that. But I want you to try it that way. Little confusing, but I think you can handle it. So I'm going to move the chair out of the way. And I want to be at the back of my mat only because I'm not using the chair. So when you do a wide stance, again, feet are parallel to each other. You want to go as wide as you can and be comfortable. Once the hips start jamming up, that's not really a flexibility issue. That's the head of the trochanter in a limited cup because it's a ball and socket joint. And you can only move it according to the structure of the hip cup. So when we do a standing forward bend, we still stick our bottom out. So inhale here and exhale down. Just stick the bottom out. Now remember, you're going to take hold of the chair. I'm just going to touch my fingers down. Inhale here. And on exhale, bend one knee forward and down you come. Try to keep both heels on the ground, especially this one, the bent knee heel. Inhale back up and exhale down again. Inhale back up and down you go. Inhale back up and down you go on exhale. So I'm going to come up. I want you to try a few of those on your own. So pause the video and do as many as you like and then start it again. And we'll continue. So, notice how you feel afterwards. Did you feel some tightness in the inside of your thighs? When we're told that we must sit with our knees together, the inner thigh gets tight, the outer thigh becomes too loose, and your pelvic floor is influenced by that tightness that pulls. So, I like to think of this pose as stretching from the hip on this side all the way down to that foot and including the pelvic floor. And so for that reason, one of my favorite students nicknamed this pose the P pose, because pelvic floor flexibility and strength is going to let you almost always only pee when you want to, which is important. So to come out of this without undoing all the good stuff we've done, you shift your weight to one side and jump it together. So any way you come back together is fine too. We're going to go wide again. And then turn one foot out. Really careful. Turn the other foot out. Pretty careful. Find your balance. And then practice bending your knees. You want your knees and thighs to point at your feet. This might seem a little bit tricky. And if you want to use the chair, you can. You can bring the chair in front of you, like so, and use it with just one hand for what we're going to do. But let me show you what we're going to do first. This one's fun. This one is my favorite stress buster. So we're going to exhale here. Inhale up. Big inhale. And as you come down, you're going to stick your tongue out and say ha. So inhale back up. Bigger breath. Inhale back up. Biggest of all. Arms down. Bend the knee when you want to turn the foot in. Bend the knee, turn the foot in, shift your weight, jump them together, and then take a seat in your chair again, please. And we'll just finish out this asana practice, and you'll be ready to move on to pranayama number 4. So let's find our seat again. Take a long, gentle inhale. And on exhale, close eyes if that's comfortable for you. Bring your attention to the breath in your nose. And as you exhale, soften jaw, cheeks, forehead, and those little muscles around your eyes. Bring your attention to the breath in your throat. And on exhale, lengthen the space, soften the space between your ears and shoulders. Let your neck be long and soft. Your chin might come up a little too. That's all right. Bring your attention to the breath moving your chest. And on exhale, soften the shoulder-arm connection so that your arms can be limp and soft. Bring your attention to the breath moving your belly. And on exhale, soften the hip-leg connection so legs can be soft, and you'll almost feel the torso sort of balance on its own when you soften the leg-hip connection. And then come into that little triangle, either with the palm of your hand or with your interoception, your inner perception. Feel the diaphragm going down on inhale and up on exhale. And then with your next inhale, bring eyes open. And move on to the pranayama video number 4. If you have any questions or comments, I welcome them. You can post them on the website or under this video, and I will answer them if possible. Thank you.